Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Kelli,
And I'm Lori.
and we're missing Wendy because she doesn't feel good. So we're hoping that Wendy feels better and she can get back to us soon. We're going to recap Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tonight, season 14, episode 10. Can't believe there's been 10 episodes already.
I know.
That's a lot.
Crazy. It is a lot.
Before we do so, I just want to bring two things up. Addison LaCroix from Southern Charm is pregnant. She announced it this week. Yep, because she's been trying. Her husband had some health issues. They had to get through that. She has a son, Hudson, from a prior relationship. So now this will be her first with Brent. So we're super happy for her. That's really good news. Second thing I want to bring up, I want your opinion on this. Now, you didn't watch Real Housewives of Dallas when it was on. It was on years ago and since got canceled. But the last season, there was a really good housewife.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. And her name was Dr. Tiffany Moon. And she was in Miami this week speaking at some convention. And she ordered an Uber Deluxe. I don't know if she was going back to her hotel from the convention to get ready to go to dinner, or if she was going to dinner from her hotel after the convention. I'm not quite sure. However, I just want to get your opinion on this because I don't use Uber. Do you use Uber?
I've used it maybe 3 times in my life. I have the app. I have no idea how to work it. So I'm not a great Uber-esque person.
Me neither. So I don't know if this is normal or not. So she's in Miami. She calls for an Uber Deluxe. While she's in the Uber, the driver stops at another stop and somebody else gets in the car. Now, the door was locked and she was in the car saying, "You're not coming in. You're not coming in." The guy reaches into the car and unlocks the door and gets into the back seat with her. And she's saying, "I don't want to share a ride with you." Now, I don't know what the driver did at this point, but she starts filming and explaining the situation, and she even flashes the phone on the driver. Now, again, I don't use Uber, so to me, why was the driver even allowed to pick up a second person, especially if you're paying for Uber Deluxe? I'm sure that's an elevated price.
I don't know. I don't
Wouldn't
know how
pissed?
Yeah, how that works. I don't know if
neither.
it's like a ride share situation or not. I mean, I know that Uber Deluxe is definitely higher caliber, larger car.
Exactly.
But I don't know the Uber rules as to whether people share rides at Uber or if it's just for you. I have no idea.
Yeah. So if one of our listeners could comment and let us know if this is the norm, I'd be curious to know because if I'm paying for an Uber, if I'm paying that driver to drive me from one place to another, he's double dipping if he's picking somebody else up. He's going that way anyway. Like you're getting paid twice to do the same run. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not sure at all. So I'm like the worst person there.
Yeah.
Because
listeners, please chime in because I'm very curious. All right, let's get to Beverly Hills. So PK and Dorit's opening scene.
I like how they did that, like went into the past.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to watch though. It was kind of sad, right?
Well, I think that was the point of it.
That was the point.
Yeah.
Because he really...
Well, they're lovey-dovey scenes and...
They've always seemed like a very loving couple, which I'm sure they were. Just shit happens in marriages. But yeah. Then we flash to Kathy, and she's getting another IV treatment. This woman is always getting IV treatments.
Yeah, she had a lot going on there in that scene with all those people.
Yeah, like where was she going? Did she say?
She was in her house. She was getting ready for guests to come over. She must have just been having some kind of like fluffing session for herself where she had all this glam and an IV treatment. And I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if I had the dough, but yeah, that was interesting. And did you see how much money for Erica's designer? $1,000. I certainly hope that is for more than just that cabana room and her bedroom. Because Erica, in my former life, I did interior design work, and girl, I could have hooked you up for way less.
So do you think that was for his services alone, or was that for the services
No, I
and
would
the
believe,
furniture?
I would certainly hope that that is for services and her.
Decor. That doesn't sound like a lot, though, in that area, though. Because to me, like, I thought that was for his, like, fee. No.
I mean, if he's doing 2 rooms, he's charging $15,000 a room to come up
Yeah, I
with a
guess that's a
scheme.
lot.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You know what? It's not a job that everybody can do, but for people who can do it, it's not that in depth. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing like a square foot of office buildings or some massive
Yeah,
architectural
it's a small
project.
space.
It's a residential home with 2 relatively small rooms.
Right.
If that is, then that is just ridiculous because you can be a great designer. I mean, no,
Yeah.
it's just foolishness.
Right. Right. So we find out that Sutton has invited Garcelle and Kyle to go home to Augusta with her and nobody else. Now, did Sutton say why she was going home? I forget.
She made it sound like she was going home because I think that there was some conversation with Garcelle's mom has passed. And I think who else is someone
Well,
else's mom?
Kyle's mom's passed, obviously.
Yeah. Something about, like she wanted to try and kind of get her relationship together with her mother a little bit because his mother's getting older. And she
Right.
just wanted to not look back and be like, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Did you see when Kathy was calling Boz to give her an invitation to come over to eat? And that's when she was getting her IV treatment, Kathy. And she says to Boz in regards to her necklace, "No, are those like puka shells or pearls?" Boz was like, "No, honey, they're diamonds." And Kathy was like, it was just funny. I saw a couple of memes about that online. I was laughing when I saw that scene because I had seen the memes before I saw the episode. So.
And, listen, I'm not the biggest Kathy Hilton fan. Wendy really loves
No.
Kathy Hilton. I'm not a huge fan, but, whatever. It's hard to determine, like, was she being shady? I don't think Kathy Hilton is a shady person. So I don't think she was being shady. She probably really just didn't realize.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think
that
she throws shade like that, Kathy.
I think that she does throw shade, but I think that she's so in her own world that she doesn't even know that she's doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Like it's not intentional.
No, she's really not even aware of it. And I don't want to call her stupid, but she's just.
I know.
It's not.
The
She's not
brightest
that
bulb.
savvy. She's not that savvy to be
Right.
able to throw shade. I think it just happens naturally.
And, not only I really don't think she's the smartest woman, but I'm sure, I'll never know, but I'm sure when you have people doing things for you all the time, like she doesn't even have to lift a spoon if she doesn't want to. She could pay somebody to lift the spoon to her mouth for her. Like you become out of touch with reality.
Absolutely.
At this level of wealth.
Well,
and quite honestly, because we know she's got a lot of power in that town.
Yeah. But I mean, you can still, there's a lot of really wealthy people who have not succumbed to that. If you succumb to that level of other people providing for you, then that's what happens. Then you're right. You do become out of touch.
Yeah.
And I like how when Garcelle and when Sutton when they called Kyle to invite her to go to Georgia, I like that Kyle was in bed. I like that. I like that she was a bed whore. I'm like, you go, girl.
Well, yeah,
you're in the bed. The sun was out. Everybody else was up, but you were go ahead.
If
Go
you don't
ahead.
where, why not?
Yeah.
So Dorit texts PK, and he waited a whole day to respond to her, and his response was, "I'm at a friend's wedding. Have a nice day." And I believe her text was something about the kids, wasn't it?
Well, it was, she contacted him in regards to what happened with Jagger, their son,
asking, are you and Daddy getting divorced?
Are you and Daddy divorced? So she texted him back and said, I think we need to try and get to a little bit more friendly place, especially because of the children. And then when he didn't answer, and then answered a day later.
That's
she
ridiculous.
said she hasn't heard from him since their their therapy session
that he stormed out of. So this is like 3 episodes ago that she spoke about it. So, I mean, I guess it could be only 3 days later, quite honestly. But
well, who knows? Who knows how they film?
Yeah. So then we see Bose and her man talking about a timeline and a marriage and a baby.
Yeah. Now, that restaurant was really loud.
That restaurant was loud.
It was really loud. I was like, so fucking annoying. It's loud. Loud in here, you know?
Now, I think we see it coming. It wasn't in this episode. Next week, I think she says we're talking about getting married and having a baby, but we haven't said I love you yet.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Did they say how long they've been together?
No, but hey, look,
I'm wondering.
Like Boz said, you know, trying to find yourself somebody in LA in your 40s, good luck. So I think, you know, you get to a certain point in age in life where you're just like, you're not fucking around anymore. It's like the clock is ticking, and if you find, it's very rare that you know, find somebody that you're in any way compatible with once you get to a certain age.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's where they're kind of at. They're like, oh, we get along great. We really like each other. We have lots of same interest, blah, blah, blah. You know, we could see ourselves being together. And I don't know. I would say that they probably do love each other. At least that's how their relationship reads on camera.
I agree. I mean, just the fact that he, you know, took her for her surgery, helped her in her recovery. If you're casual about someone, you're not really doing all of it.
No, you're not into it that far.
Certainly not for somebody who can, again, pay for somebody to do that for her. You know what I mean? She's a very successful woman, so she could have somebody do that. Mo and Kyle go to the shooting range.
Yeah.
And
very awkward. Very, very awkward.
It was awkward. It was awkward. And it's so weird to watch that because, you know, we've watched them on this show for 14 years. And honestly, they were always one of my favorite couples. They just were like, they weren't like over the top, lovey-dovey, schmoopy-boopy, but you could tell like they loved each other and like things, it was like real and they were funny, you know. I don't know. It was very awkward. And she says she's in the house where they all used to be and now there's nobody there. And that sucks.
Yeah, and she said it's grieving the loss of someone who is still here.
Yeah.
You know? So I really wonder, like, is she super regretful? I mean, because it did seem like something that she wanted. Now, maybe she wanted it because she was tired of him cheating. Maybe she wanted it because she wanted to be like, you know, fuck you. Let's see how you like it without me. I don't know, like no one knows what the whole gig was, but I don't know. I wonder if she is regretting her decision.
I was thinking the same thing. Sorry, I was just going to text Joe to stop yelling in the basement, and Eric, I just heard Eric tell him to stop yelling in the basement. So I totally agree with you 100%. And I was going to say, this is the first time I'm watching Kyle on this show and thinking, like, I felt bad for her. And I don't think it's something, I do think that she is the one that initiated the separation. I don't think it's something she wanted. I think just like you said, I think she was tired of the cheating. I think he must have been a cheater.
A player, yeah.
A player. And she, like, enough was enough now. So I agree with you. I don't think she wanted it, but I think she initiated it because it was like what? Come on, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking knows, you know, we're on a TV show, for crying out loud.
Right.
And everybody in Hollywood knows that you cheat on me. Like, enough is enough.
Right. I just, for some reason, I get the feeling like he thought she was going to get a different outcome.
I think you're right. I think she thought she was going to give him an ultimatum and he was just going to, you know, fall in line. I do honestly think she should have taken a break from the show during this.
Most definitely. I mean,
I really do.
on. What are you doing?
Yeah, because she's emotional. She's very emotional. Like, I couldn't understand the beginning of the season. I'm like, you've been separated for 2 years. Like, what do you mean you don't know what you want? But after that episode, it's very clear that she doesn't want to be separated from him, but knows it's something she has to do. And that's an internal struggle. And nobody's going to want to sign divorce papers in that with those feelings.
Right.
Yeah. So it was an awkward scene, but I think it was a necessary scene because I started looking at Kyle in a different way from that scene. Like I felt sorry for her.
Yeah, she did garner some sympathy in that instance. But again, and I'm highly skeptical of these shows.
I know.
I mean, was she putting the waterworks on for that reason, so that you and I and everybody else would say, Carl's really not that much of a bitch. Look.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, you're right. Because, I said it from the beginning. I thought they were doing this for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were faking the whole separation for the show. I really did. Because I don't put that past Kyle because she's an actress.
Right.
Her life revolves around this show. There's no, her life is this show. Nobody knew who she was. And I think she really likes the fact that now everybody knows who she is.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see when they go to the airport?
Yeah, so that's Garcelle and Sutton and Kyle all go to the airport to go to Georgia.
And one of them said, hello.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes, that was Avi.
Avi, that's who it was.
Yes, it was
I'm like,
Avi.
who do I have written down here? Avi said, hello.
So how about Garcelle bitching about the flight? I was like, girl, she's saying, oh, I wasn't expecting to fly commercial. Girl, your commercial is not my commercial. Like, whatever commercial setup that I saw on my TV, it's on most people's commercial flight.
No, but I am kind of surprised that Sutton didn't fly them private. But there was only 3 of them. Or I guess with Avi, there was 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that. I mean, that setup they had, and I'm sure they flew first class for a not that long of a flight. But I was just like, I'll show you some commercial.
Yeah, right.
Commercial.
Your knees up to your chest.
Yeah, you try flying from JFK to Scotland in a regular seat, and they'll let you know about commercial.
That house was beautiful.
I love Sutton's house. Very pretty.
So she did buy that house with her ex.
Yes.
So I guess she got that in the divorce settlement. And then there's a smaller house on the property where her mother lives.
Yes. Miss Reba.
And she was interesting to say the least.
She
calls her grandson weird.
Not a fan.
Listen, we have Jersey moms, different breed than Sutton's Southern mother.
Most definitely.
And as brass and hard as Jersey women can be, I think Southern women are the same, except say it with a smile on their face
whilst
and with sweeter words.
Yes, whilst the knife is in the back.
Yes.
They smile while they cut you.
Yeah, because she was interesting. I mean, Garcelle gives her that beautiful scarf,
but the whole thing was weird. She was like, "Well, what's in the gift?" And Garcelle's like, "Open it." Like that's what normal people do.
Right.
Somebody gives you a gift, you say, "Oh, thank you." You open it, you say you love it, even if you fucking hate it, and you move on. The whole thing was weird and very weird, off and very awkward.
She was not gracious at all.
No, not
and
a
that's
fan.
Not very Southernly.
No, I'm not a fan at all. And how she right away said, "Oh, to Kyle, oh, you're pretty."
Yeah,
and didn't even
notice that.
Like said hi to Garcelle, and then it was like all about Kyle. Then, oh, look how pretty you are.
Well, I'm sure because it's Kyle Richards and she's Kathy Hilton's sister.
Yeah,
and we know that Sutton's. A big goal of Sutton's is to stay in Kathy's good graces.
Okay,
so I'm sure her mother falls in line with that as well.
I got that. I didn't even.
That's how I took it.
That didn't even come into my mind. Only
because I mean, listen,
I'm not a Housewives fan, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a fact. And to me, and I don't mean any insult to Kyle because she's obviously a beautiful woman, but if Kyle and Garcelle walk into a room together, Garcelle is going to get noticed quicker. Garcelle is like strikingly beautiful.
Strikingly beautiful. Absolutely.
She has a presence.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. That's neither here nor there, but I thought the same thing, that like she was falling all over her.
Yeah, and I like how Garcelle says in her confessional that maybe she should have pulled a Kyle and brought nothing.
Right. So then we flash to Kathy's Capri dinner with Kathy, Dorit, Bose, and Erica.
Okay, now wait. Did you see when they were putting out all the flowers and everything? How Kathy has a brand manager?
Yes, I did see that. I did see that. Did you see the lemons inside the flower arrangements?
Uh-huh. Yes, I did.
Very cute.
Very cute. Yeah.
So we flash to that, but then we go back to Augusta, where Sutton, Garcelle, and Kyle, it was actually kind of funny. Like, Sutton's mom's like giving them a tour of her home, and then Sutton's like, all right, well, we got to go. We got to go get ready for dinner. Her mother was not invited to dinner.
No, Sutton wanted to get the fuck out of there.
She
was
wanted
like,
to
"Oh
get
my
the
God.
fuck out of there.
What's this monster gonna say now to my friends?"
Right. So she brings them to a place called Luigi's, which is 3 generations, the restaurant is. I'm curious, like, I'd like to know some reviews, because you've traveled a lot more than I have. I haven't been many places outside of New Jersey, but I have been to California. I've been to Florida. I don't think you can find good Italian food outside of the tri-state area.
It depends. If you have somebody who's like a transplant,
Yeah.
you have somebody who's an actual Italian,
Yeah.
and they move to another location. I've actually even been to some Italian restaurants in Florida, like one that I went to, that the family was actually, they weren't Italian. It was something really odd, like Pakistani or something. But the food was, hey. So it all,
Really?
yeah, it all depends. It all depends.
That's interesting.
You
Okay.
can get
Well,
very
listen,
good
this place
Italian
must
food.
be good.
It looked good.
It did look good. It did look good.
But you know me, like almost any food looks good.
Right. Right. Okay, so then we flash back to Kathy's Capri dinner. And I don't know about you, but I found this hysterical when Kathy's talking about how she's part Chinese. And she says that she found a lady in Venice that knows everything. How much money do you think this woman got out of Kathy Hilton to tell her that she was part Chinese?
From 3000 BC. Don't forget. Not only part Chinese, but 3000 BC Chinese. Oh yeah. Somebody fleeced her like nobody's business. It was, you know what I was laughing at? I was laughing at all the ladies' faces at the table, because they were
exactly.
They were like, what?
Exactly.
Somebody said, I'm sorry. Somebody said, what? And somebody said, come again. I didn't write down who said those, but as soon as Kathy said that, one of those girls each said that thing.
Yes.
And I love how Buzz in her confessional was like, girl, no.
So
crazy.
Funny.
Now, when they were back to
Augusta,
when they were in that restaurant, it was interesting. I caught it that Garcelle and Kyle didn't know what spanakopita was.
Yeah.
They didn't know how do you not know what spanakopita is? Like, don't you eat it?
Well,
Ever
it was
go to a Greek
interesting that
restaurant?
spanakopita was at on the menu at an Italian restaurant.
Right.
It's Greek.
Yeah, it's Greek. But maybe the people were part Greek, because sometimes, I've been to different restaurants where different foods are meshed together that you would think would be on the same menu.
Right. It's like a crossover.
Yeah, but I was just very interested in that. I was like, you girls can afford to go out to eat all the time.
Right.
Like,
You've never gone to a Greek restaurant?
Right.
You've never been to a diner?
Yeah.
Every diner has spanakopita on it.
Maybe because we're from New Jersey, and in New Jersey we have a lot of diners, and most diners are owned by Greek people.
Greeks, yeah.
So
you
don't know what you're missing out on with not getting spanakopita.
For sure. That spinach pie, that's one of my faves.
Yeah.
So Garcelle and Sutton are talking, and Garcelle thinks that Sutton and Reba are too much alike. Sutton was hurt by my mom. Sutton was hurt by her mom at her store opening. Her mom didn't seem super proud of her.
She's just
And
a cold black eyes,
yeah,
that woman.
and Sutton just wants her respect. Listen, especially after your husband, who must have had a side piece or something. Something was going on that this guy left and wanted a divorce. That's devastating to a woman, and vice versa. If a woman does it to a man, it's devastating to the man. Your self-confidence is very low. You're feeling down on yourself. You're going to blame yourself. You're going to feel like you did something wrong. So for your own mother to not be like, I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, look at you. Look at what you just accomplished.
And I will say this, too, in Sutton's defense. You know, she had been a wife and a homemaker for, I think she said 17 years she hadn't worked. And I mean, I myself hadn't worked recently in about maybe 8 years. I mean, I worked, but never like, I always worked privately. So I was always one-on-one with clients or patients.
Right.
But going out there, trying to go out there and do something after not being working in the public for a long time, it's very daunting. You know, it is a big accomplishment for her. And because of that, because it wasn't like she was working and had her finger on the pulse and, you know, up to date on all the goings on all those years. She was not. She made her world her husband and her children. And then to have to go out and try and assimilate into someplace that you haven't been kept up on, it's just a lot.
And the timing, like she opened this boutique and then COVID hit. Now she has to navigate an online business, which if you haven't been working and now you have to navigate an online business.
Yeah, it's crazy town.
It really
There's
is.
something very interesting that I found out about her mother, which I found out on the after show, which makes her mother, to me, even more frightening, is she's a psychiatrist. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah.
I think she's just a hard woman.
Just a very cut and dry.
Cold. You know, when Erica first came, Erica is from the same area, by the way. Erica Jane. Erica Girardi, when she joined the show, she was accused of being cold. And she referenced how she was brought up and who brought her up. So it's interesting. Her mother is probably similar to Sutton's mother, although we've met Erica's mother and she didn't seem like that. But then Sutton says that her mom was worried that she wasn't going to do well enough in the divorce to support her mother's lifestyle.
Yeah, how do you like that?
That is some effed up shit right there.
And on the after show, Kyle tries to defend Sutton's
the mother?
Mom. Yeah.
Come on.
I know. I was like, what?
Well, I'll tell you why, probably, and may God rest her soul. But Kyle's mother had to be the same. Kyle's mother pushed those girls into acting.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah. Her mother just wanted them to marry rich.
Because it was all about...
I mean, thankfully for Kathy, it really worked out because I will, again, I'm not the biggest Kathy Hilton fan, but it does seem like she and her husband truly love each other. And she says it later in the episode, like people ask her what their secret is.
Yeah.
And who knows what goes on behind closed doors. And I don't care what goes on behind closed doors. It's not my business. It's not my marriage. They seem very happy. They seem like they very much respect each other.
Right. And they've been married a long time.
A very long time. So God bless them and their marriage. And then Sutton says that her mom praised her ex-husband during their marriage, but not her.
Oh, that seems right on par.
It does seem on par. It does. I mean,
for her.
I don't know what happened. I'm assuming that he cheated or didn't or wanted to be with somebody else. Like, I'm assuming all of this. It could very well not be true, but it's been that he wanted the divorce and Sutton did not. So, you know, was he a nice guy and did he deserve praise from Sutton's mom, or did Sutton's mom just praise him because he made a lot of money and he provided a nice lifestyle for she and her
I think
daughter?
it's number two.
Me too. I think it's the latter.
Number two. Well, Sutton says she was raised by a narcissist and married a narcissist.
Yeah, right.
So, you know.
Right. Now, Garcelle feels the need to insert herself somehow, I guess, and give the message to Sutton's mom that she would
Good.
like her respect.
Read the room, Garcelle.
Totally agree.
No.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Totally agree.
After the incident with the scarf, even if I had that thought in my head, I would have been like, nope, not going with that plan. Nope,
I'm all
Sutton,
set.
you're on your own.
You're on your own, son.
On your own. Yeah. If anybody was to have that conversation, it could have been Kyle. And I think the only thing difference would have been is her mother would have been less rude, and that's it. But I don't think it would ever even have reached her depth of emotional understanding that she doesn't even have.
Right.
A wasted breath.
Totally.
But I feel bad for Sutton because that's a shitty way to grow up.
Well, it's a shitty way to grow up. And could you imagine feeling that way, that your mother was worried that you weren't smart enough to set yourself up to be financially set for you and her in your divorce? Basically, that's what she's saying.
Absolutely.
Like, that blows me away. So now we're going back to Kathy's Capri dinner. And Kathy asks Dorit how she is. And this gives, to me, Dorit the opportunity to hijack the entire dinner. Because we all know Dorit likes to talk about herself.
She does.
So give her the podium, please. I didn't like how Dorit paused when Kathy asked PK a good father. Well, first of all, when Kathy said, how old is PK? And Dorit said 56. And she said, I thought he was 56 when I met him. And that was years ago.
She said PJ.
She did say PJ. She did say PJ.
Yeah.
But I felt like she paused when Kathy asked if PK was a good father. But then she does say that he would disappear for weeks. So, I mean, to me, Dorit is just putting everything out there right now about their marriage. And I just think that with little kids, her kids' ages, I just don't know if that's the right thing right now.
Right. She definitely could have held it to the chest a little more.
I agree.
Yeah, she could have held it to the chest anymore. But like we talked about for the last episode, I think that since she gatekeeped a lot, I think it's just gushing, like the dam has broken and it's just gushing out now. I think because she held back for so long, really letting people know what it was like. But I mean, also too, he's an alcoholic, and a lot of alcoholics like to binge. So if you can go to London and be gone for a couple weeks and not have to be beholden to anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Go get all wrecked up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to go for work and be gone for weeks and doing whatever it is you're doing, but not consistently checking in with your family.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she meant when she said, no, he was not a good father, because she was thinking back to all those times where he would be gone and gone and gone and gone and not knowing when he was going to come home and not knowing when he was going to call and always having to reassure her kids. Listen, we're married. We have husbands. They're fathers. Are they good fathers? Yes.
Yes.
Are they Disney dads 80% of the time? Yes.
Like, do we do more?
Yes. So but
they're good dads. They're great dads.
Right. They're good dads. But are they immersed in their children's lives? Are they having daily conversations with them? Are they concerned about their mental health? Do they know where their child's keys are? Do they know where the homework is? No. So, I'm just trying to put that out there in the context of that, even in a happy marriage where a father's a good father, there's still a small level of resentment. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just normal. No. It's just because they're not moms. They're not moms.
Right. They're just not wired. Most. They're just not wired like that. Like, I know as soon as Joe gets home from school, I have to go grab his Chromebook and I have to charge it. Because if I don't do it, he's not going to do it.
Right.
Eric doesn't think about that. You know what I mean? Eric would, if I said something, Eric would either do it or tell me he should be doing that.
Right.
And obviously he should be doing that. But the fact remains that he's not. So to make sure that he has a charged computer the next day, I charge it.
Because you have to pick certain battles.
Yeah.
And that's
so it's
what
like
you
it's
do.
things like that, you know.
So all I'm saying is you take that and then put it on steroids times 10. I can see where that
disappearing for weeks, especially when Tess was 3 weeks old and I had postpartum depression. Eric had to go to Vegas for work. He really did. But the conference happened to be in Las Vegas, people. I was fucking beside myself. My best friend, Lori Ann, came and stayed with me for the week. She went to work every day, but she slept here with me. I had postpartum depression and I was a brand new mom and thank God Tess, she was actually both of my kids, such good babies. Thank God, such good babies. But I couldn't imagine having even her kids' ages or, younger, because obviously he had been doing it for a while. Like, I couldn't imagine when Tess was 5 and Joe was 2 if Eric took off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been
in a foreign
horrible.
country, and you don't know when he's going to call, and you got to keep telling your kids, oh, no, Daddy's fine. He'll call us as soon as he can. He really wants to come home, but he's super busy. And meanwhile, you don't know where he is. You don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, like that, I could never.
No. Now, how about Boz? She is too much. She a little ballsy there.
I like
Kathy that about Kyle, though.
She said she thinks Kyle's cold.
Yeah, I was like, wow, look at you. She said, I'm sure that she's open and friendly and welcoming, but I have found her to be cold. I was like, damn, girl, like, that's her sister.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
It's interesting. She's not the first housewife to say that, by the way. I believe Garcelle said the same thing. Garcelle definitely said that Kyle was unwelcoming.
I'll see that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also think that, unfortunately, with Bose joining the show, there's a couple of elements here, though. One, Kyle is going through probably the hardest thing, other than losing her mom, of course, a very hard time in her life.
Yes.
With her separation and being an empty nester, her girls all leaving. Like, it's a difficult time for Kyle. So she's got that going on. Plus, Bose and Dorit hit it off so well right out the gate. And Kyle and Dorit's relationship is strained right now.
Right.
But I think it's a little bit unfair for Bose to say that, considering Kyle went to her house after she was recovering from surgery and brought her flowers.
It wasn't like, she's been ice queen to you.
Yeah, I think it's a little unfair. I mean, when people called Erica icy, I thought it was justified, quite honestly, because she's got a wall up, Erica.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kyle does. So I think that comment was a little unfair.
And I thought it was really funny, too, after Kathy was making the comments about PJ's age, that Boz was like, girl, that's some shade. That's like the smoothest shade I ever heard in my life. He was saying at the table. I was laughing. I was like, well, you're so funny.
Yeah. She's a good addition. She's a great, great housewife.
I love her. And how do you like when she said, how do you like when she said, I have nothing to say because black don't crack?
Yeah. Damn straight. Lucky.
Right. No. They always look great, their skin.
I know. And she's got, I'm sure there's filters on and things, we don't have access to, but she's got beautiful skin, Bose.
Yeah.
So this is the last thing I have. Basically, they start talking about the laws in California. And if PK divorces Dorit before 10 years, she does not get 50%.
Right.
I can't.
Is that your child?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly's son is playing the video games and yelling because that's what boys do.
It's like, it's so ridiculous. I live like this. It's like, it's ridiculous. What does PK even have, though? Like, if it's, I don't know if they own that house. If they do, her name has to be on it. Like, what is she worried about getting 50% of? Isn't the guy, like, broke? That's why they're accusing him of insurance fraud?
I don't know. But I think that the deal is that if she's not married for the 10 years, then she cannot get the spousal support.
Okay.
I think
He did.
that's the
Okay.
gig. I think
And he
that's
did divorce his first wife before the 10-year mark.
I didn't know
Somebody mentioned that.
that.
And Erica said, did somebody ask Dorit, do you think he wants you back or something? But Erica said he doesn't want you back.
No, he
Did
doesn't.
you hear Erica say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Good for her. I mean, listen, you have to give it to your friend straight. That was very straight, but.
Very straight. And I like how when she was doing it, Bob was just like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. Everything Dorit was saying. Or Erica, because, I mean, at least Erica's giving her the legal. Poor Erica just went through it, obviously, and is still going through it. So she can give her the legal side of things. But it's very good advice. Get an attorney. But yeah, Bose was hysterical. She was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. I mean, but then after that, she kept doing like all different other sounds, like, oh, laughing at her. It was so funny. Yes, that's all I have for that. So we shall see. I'm curious to watch this conversation next episode between Garcelle and Sutton's mother. I don't know.
Me too.
Dealing with that dragon.
Yep.
So unfortunately for Sutton, I think it's just something where she's just going to have to accept her mother for who she is and just be proud of her own self.
Isn't that ultimately what we all have to do? Like, we all have to give ourselves grace, and we all have to give ourselves, what's the word I'm looking for?
A pat on the back?
A pat on the back.
But see, it's different because you and I have, I had and you have mothers who are very supportive, love us beyond measure, think that we're the greatest thing since sliced bread and no one could be better than us. And it's different when you're blessed with that.
Agreed.
So I think it's a lot easier for us to say, well, yeah, because we've had that.
Yeah.
That
you're right.
That
you're
support
right.
Where she hasn't. So, and I think that's, meeting her mother explains a lot about her. All right. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you. If you could give us some 5-star reviews, follow us, share us. We'd appreciate
Comment on our posts. Everybody comments. We love our comments.
Yeah. And we respond to the good comments and the bad comments. I just responded to a bad comment right before I logged on.
Yeah, sometimes
somebody calling us bitches and telling us to go see a psychiatrist because we won't buy Teresa's lipstick. I'm not buying Teresa's lipstick. Listen, I don't fucking like her, and I'm on a podcast where I have the right to say that.
You don't have to like her. You don't have to like anybody.
I don't like her. Yeah.
Doesn't mean you wish her ill.
Of course not.
Just you don't have to like her.
Right. And Lori and Wendy have no feelings either way. So to call us bitches over that, it's pretty messed up. But that's okay. I laughed at your comment and I said, ooh, you're angry.
Yeah. Have a glass of wine.
Yeah, chill. It's not that deep.
It's lipstick in a TV show.
Exactly.
And spices. My McCormick spices.
McCormick's doing just fine, people. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
And I use McCormick because I can't afford the expensive one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.